Just waiting. See if anybody's coming in. Good morning. Hi, Andrea. How you doing? You first fruits. I keep forgetting to bring my phone thing down here. I'll bring it. Y'all on fast this morning. The last time I was on here, nobody hardly showed up. I was like, where they at? I was like, where everybody at? Hi, James. How you doing, sweetie? Hi, Penny. Hello, Julian and Tanisha. Hi, Doris. Thank you for your donation. Your tithe, Doris. You're so faithful. God bless you. Hi, Cheryl. Who's that? Devont. Miss Lena. Mama Lena. We're on YouTube. Yeah. Good morning. Hold on, y'all. Y'all know how this. Hi. Cool. Hey, Wolf. Hey, sis Alicia. How you doing? Hey, Miss Tia. I hope I say your name. I think I be messing your name up. Forgive me. Hi, Michelle and Claude. How you doing? Oh, Samuel from Germany. How you doing, Samuel? And how's your other friend? His name is Samuel too, I think. How are you both doing? I pray better in Yeshua's name. Hi, Gail. Well, just getting one final test this week. Oh, so you almost finished school, James? Are you almost finished school? You about to graduate? About to graduate? About to get that degree. All right, look, I have like some prophecy words to give you, but I can't give you them right now, but I got some other stuff. The other prophecy words is in my phone, this phone. I should have brought the other phone and came on that one. So I'm going to make a video this week with the other words, but God wanted me to remind y'all of some words he gave me. Okay. Y'all know the videos is on here. I gave you a word, I think it was like a month or two ago, about the 2 destroyers that's about to come forth, right? And if God had not intervened, when these 2 destroyers come, they were going to be bringing devastation with them to America, and it was going to trickle out to other countries, right? So these 2 destroyers that's coming forth cannot be stopped. But God has intervened with a lot of stuff they're going to try and do, right? And he was just going over it with me the other day. He said Kamala Harris was still going to be president. Don't know how it's going to happen, but he said it is. And I was the first one back in October 2021 to tell y'all. Then maybe a few people after that started saying it, right? I was the first one back in 2021, and another guy called Jesus Lord, he said it after me, that Joe Biden was going to win because I saw him win it a couple of times. And the Lord told me to remind y'all about the vision I had about Joe Biden standing up, and then Obama was behind him, and Obama came through him, and Joe Biden became Obama. Then the Lord told me to remind you about the vision I had in October 2021, where I saw Kamala Harris as president and Obama was standing next to her. Then he told me to remind you about the vision I had. I was a Kamala Harris assistant. I was her #1 assistant because she has many. And she had her hair back in a ponytail with a white shirt on and gray pants. Gray in the spiritual realm is disappointing you, right? And she said, get ready to move. Get all my stuff together. Get ready to move because we're moving to the big house. And the big house was the White House. She was not living in the White House at that time. But she said, we're about to move to the White House. So me and God have been talking about this for the last couple of days. And he told me to come on here and remind you. And then he told me to remind you about the 3 visions I had while I saw our president, who's president now. He wasn't here no more. just like I saw John McCain in the White House. And you know, when they pass away, they put them in that big room in the White House where people could come and observe them. And John McCain literally died of brain cancer a year later. And a lot of y'all remember I had a vision about him dying of brain cancer, and he died a year later. So I saw President Biden the same way 3 times in a row, right? And the Lord said that he had some kind of disease. I told y'all that, but don't nobody know but him and maybe his wife, maybe a couple of close people. But he had a disease that they hiding from the people. They hiding from the people. And then you remember the prophecy I gave y'all a couple of weeks ago that Donald Trump was going to be in big trouble? How many of y'all remember that prophecy? Boy, did it come to pass. The FBI raided his house. Guys, let me tell you something. The FBI just don't raid your house out the blue. They plan this. They got to get search warrants. He's the ex-president. He's the first ex-president in history. I mean, in history, to ever get raided, right? So do you know the care that they've had to go through this for weeks? Because he's an ex-president. Do you know how high they have to go to get a warrant? Do you know how high they have to go? They have to go to the highest to get a warrant on his butt. And that ain't overnight. Like the big wigs have to sign off on a warrant for him, right? So that was planned for weeks, right? And when Daddy said he was going to be in big trouble, I never would think it would be the FBI raiding his house. What? Shocking. I was like, Dad, that's the first president in history. Even Reagan didn't get raided for Watergate. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh. And God said it. He said it just a couple of weeks ago. The video's on here somewhere. Right? I'm like, whoa. So now what is Trump's followers going to do? You know, he got he has like an occult-like following. Man, these people who follow him and these Christians and liberals, man, they'll kill your butt over him. It's crazy. It's like they're under a spell. So I want to see how his people going to act, right? Because obviously Donald Trump got something. Obviously he has something that they want. Because they ain't going to send and they win it safe. And I'm like, you know what? He been out the White House almost 2 years, right? If he took anything, because I remember when he first left the White House, they say he had stole some papers, right? I'm like, well, if he stole some papers, then why they ain't trying to get it back, right? So he been out the White House come this January 2 years, right? So it's like a year and a half. So why you wait this long to raid his house? But nobody really knows why they raided his house. I don't think they raided his house just to get these papers that he supposedly took, because Donald Trump is a smart man. Do you really think he gonna leave them papers in his house? Them papers over in Switzerland somewhere. Over in Morocco somewhere, right? Nobody knows the holdings that Donald Trump has because he's rich. He's always filing bankruptcy, but he's rich. Right? He's always evading taxes, but he's rich, right? So he has something over there in Morocco, Denmark, Switzerland. Do you really think he's going to leave any papers that he stole from the White House in Mar-a-Lago? No! He's owned that place for 30 years. Actually, wait, before he became president, he owned Mar-a-Lago for 30 years, right? So he was president for 4 years. So 36 years, right? Do you really think he's going to leave anything that he stole from the White House in Mar-a-Lago? No, because he's too smart. That's why he don't never, because God said he would never do time on this earth for his atrocities. He would be in trouble. But God said, how many of y'all remember that? God said it last year. He would never do jail time on this earth. That his punishment was preserved in the afterlife. And man, he's been skating through so much stuff. He should be in jail by now with all the stuff they done came up on him, January 6th, all of that, right? But is he in prison? Nope, he ain't going to be, because his punishment is reserved for the afterlife. right? But he will be in lots of trouble. Remember, I told y'all that 2 years ago. Matter of fact, when he became president, I told y'all, all you the older people before me, I told y'all his presidency was going to be filled with nothing but trouble. And so it has, right? And now we have a new president, Joe Biden, and Trump has literally taken over his presidency. All you hear about is Trump since Joe Biden been in office. I mean, all you hear about is Trump. Trump this, Trump that. Prophecies about Trump. Trump coming back. Trump that. I told y'all, God said even if he runs for president, he won't win. He won't win. And then the Lord was telling me the other day, it may seem like he's coming back, Rosalind. It may seem like he's going to be president, but he will not be. And it's going to be shocking. A lot of people going to be shocked, and a lot of people going to be hurt. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all ever seen a president like Trump, ex-president like Trump? Have you ever seen a presidency full of trouble like his? I mean, we've had Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, the peanut president. That's what they call it. One of the Bushes got in trouble. Clinton with his affair. Obama with his stuff, right? But Trump is the only president that has really had the troubles that he has had. And he's the first president in history to FBI came down on, swooped on like eagles. And he's the first president in history to clout another presidency, because he's been clouting Joe Biden. I mean, even if things went different with Joe Biden, it wouldn't be a reflection of him. It would be a reflection of Trump. I mean, Trump going around having camp meetings like he's the president. It ain't even time to run. You do those things when you know running for president. He been doing camp meetings since Joe Biden been in office. Who does that? What ex-president does that? So he's like breaking records, history records, this Trump ex-president. You know what I'm saying? And I told y'all in 2016, I saw him winning. You know, first it was Hillary and something switched in the spiritual realm. And I saw him winning. I described to him his clothes, his children, everything. And y'all know that, right? And I told y'all the spirit of deception is being released with Donald Trump. And ever since he been in office, so much deception and distraction. I mean, Trump is a big distractor. He's good at distracting you. Very good at that. He's a good manipulator. He is. He has the big spirit of takeover. He could just take over and everybody else is just vanquished. And I told y'all the vision I had, and it's coming to pass. It's on here somewhere that his party was going to abandon him. And they started abandoning him like the past couple of months. They started to abandon him. They starting to see if they could find another candidate. I'm telling you. And then I told y'all, God said the Democrats was going to just tear up America. They were just going to tear up this country. You hear me? They were going to tear it up. And look what they're doing a good job. Let me tell you something. The IRS is the biggest federal agency on the planet. Why is the IRS bigger than the FBI? Why is the IRS bigger than the feds? Why is the IRS bigger than police stations? Why do they have to have 167,000 agents to come after the small people, normal people like us? They already taking away the money. You know, they already making people suffer. Many small businesses have already closed. When these 87,000 new agents come, man, if y'all don't have your T's right and your ducks lined up, they gonna get you. The average person don't have money to hire a tax attorney. Average person don't have money to fight against the IRS. So you better make sure you filing your taxes. You better make sure you ain't cheating on them. You better have records. Especially the small businesses and online businesses, because that's who Biden wants. See, he couldn't get you through your bank account. See, he was trying to get in your bank account $600 or more. He was trying to get in your bank account. He was going to try and get your money that way. But they fought that. So now him giving this order for 87,000 new IRS agents, that's how he going to get your money. That's how he going to try and break people's financial back. Because see, his mission is to impoverish. The Lord said that. His mission and his regime behind him, the powers that should not be, wants to impoverish this country. Remember years ago I told you I had a vision. This country became could become a second world nation through its government. It's starting to come to pass. Because once these 87,000 agents come on board, they coming after any and everybody. Ain't nobody safe from the IRS. No billionaires, no trillionaires, no millionaires, no hundredaires, no thousandaires, no 100 people. Some people only making 5,000-10,000 a year. They coming. And whatever they find, you're going to have to pay it. That's how Joe Biden's trying to get you. This how he trying to get all of us. God kept telling me impoverishment. Because if you got the IRS up your butt, excuse my French, but it's the truth. If you got them up there, then they're going to raise your taxes 15%. What president in the world is going to raise taxes 50% during a recession and as high as inflation is? What is that telling you? He wants to break the back of his own people. You don't raise the taxes 15% during a recession and inflation. Let me tell you something. Even the people who are devils themselves, who work with the devil, they gonna hurt. A lot of them might jump ship and come to God. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's safe from the IRS anymore. See, they used to come after the big whales, rich folk. Nah, they totally wiping out the middle class with this. Ain't gonna be no more middle class. It's either gonna be impoverished. Like this is how it's gonna go. It's either gonna be rich, poor, or impoverished. Rich, poor, or impoverished. There'll be no more middle class. Once these agents and all this stuff come at 15%. I mean, it might not happen for a couple of months because it got to pass something else and then reach Biden's desk. And you know when it goes to his desk, he got a pen all hot on fire, ready to sign it, right? And then they tricked us. They told us it was a recession bill act. What is it helping? 15% tax hike, 87,000 new IRS agents, making him the biggest federal agent in the world. For what? When the police departments could have used that money, the borders could have used that money, Border Patrol could have used that money. They could have invented new police stations with that money. But you want to give it to the IRS to come after your own people, to break their financial backs and impoverish them even more. So obviously you don't give a poop about your own country. You don't give a poop. You want to bring your own country down. You want to bring your own people down. How can a nation flourish? This is what I understand. How can a government flourish when your own people are not flourishing? Do you really think that you are going to be protected? The powers that should not be. Do you really think that our God is not on the throne anymore? Do you really think he's going to sit there and let you get away with the nonsense that you trying on his people in America and other countries? Nah, because as long as there's salt on the earth and as long as there is light on the earth, the darkness cannot overtake nor take away nor conquer or destroy. It may seem like they can. It may seem like they're getting away with it. But trust me, they not getting away with it. God may be quiet. But how many of you know when he quiet, he's stirring and cooking in the background. And when he come out, he going to come out huge. He going to come out enormous. He going to come out so big, they ain't going to be able to handle him. They can't even handle him now. He going to crush the enemy like a donut. You know how you get a glazed donut? You just crush it and squeeze the life out of it. You squeeze it so much you're turned off. You don't even want to eat it anymore. That's exactly what he's going to do to the enemy. You mark this apostle of the Most High's word. That's exactly what he's going to do to the enemy. And y'all know, Father, he will extend that red carpet out to you. He will let you walk back and forth on it. He will let you try it on it. And he will yank it right from under you when you least expect it. Look at all the stuff that they've been trying to do. They haven't been successful with all these different, you can't say certain things. I remember I gave y'all that prophecy 2 years ago. God said we weren't going to be able to say certain things. We we're going to have to speak in codes. Okay. And that's come to pass. And that's hitting everybody. Everybody, right? So don't get it twisted. God is still on the throne. He hasn't forgotten us at all. As a matter of fact, we are forefront in his mind. He hasn't even forgotten the sinners. He told me that's why he's allowing a lot of people to die. Because I told you three years ago, we was going to see more people die in the next 5 years than we ever seen before. And we in the 3rd year, and we done seen more people die than ever before. Every one of us, we know somebody that has died. Every last one of us on here. We know somebody who has died, whether it be family, friends, distance, somebody you know, family, friend. We all been touched by it. We all been touched by it. And God told me that he's letting a lot of people die so they can reincarnate and come back and have a better chance, because he sees them in this life not making it. He sees them not coming. And then some he took home for himself, because he saw that, like he told me he saw some people that he took home like failing him because of the stuff that we've been going through and the stuff that's coming. Their hearts would fail them. So rather than, like the Bible says, so rather than their hearts fail them, he'd rather take them home. He's such a merciful God. He'd rather take a person home that can make it to him than allow them to live the life they were supposed to live and their hearts fail them. And they wind up, failing God. And they have to come back again. But more young people are dying than anything. And I told y'all 2 years ago, we were going to see a lot of young people die. And God is allowing it so they can reincarnate and come back again and have a better life. And maybe come to him. And then some of them may not even want to come back, because if you don't want to come back, you don't have to. You would stay in the lower levels of heaven. You'd be comfortable, but you wouldn't have, all the goodness you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? And remember, I told y'all 3 years ago and last year and the year before, God said we got to pray for the children and the youths. And look, that's all that's dying. They get kidnapped. They getting trafficked, raped, used in rituals, eaten like food. All of those prophecies I gave y'all came to pass, and I laugh when people make videos about me and call me a false prophet. I laugh. And then you listen to their videos and they really don't even have anything that they can even say. You could tell they making up stuff. You could tell they lying, saying God said I'm a false prophet, when everything he tells me just about comes to pass, including the cryptos and stock markets. But yet people still want to make a video. And then the Lord told me it's because they're jealous. They're jealous because he's not talking to them that way. They're jealous because he's not. Any of you that are prophets and being ostracized, being called false prophet, hating on you, that's because they jealous, because God is talking to you. And God is showing you stuff that they want God to tell them, or they want God to show them, but he not, because of their nasty heart. He see their nasty heart. He see they ain't right. So he ain't gonna talk to you if you got a nasty heart. He ain't gonna talk to you when you calling somebody false that's not false. There's a couple of people he told me was false prophets, and they are, and it's been proven, but they still out there, because people want to believe what they believe. People got itchy ears, but you don't never call somebody false until you know for sure. And if you gonna come on here and lie on God and say he told you that, but yeah, he's showing all the world this certain person you talking about, but he's showing the world how authentic she is, or he is, and he's showing the world how precise she is or he is with his word, and you sitting up there making a video calling him false, and you really think God gonna bless you? You really think he gonna talk to you? Then you lying and saying he talking to you and he ain't. And you think that God gonna let you get away with that. And the same shame that you put on that person, do you think it's not gonna come back to you? Because trust me, it is. People may see it and people may not see it. There's a prophet out there right now, and he's been proven to be a false prophet all the time, because his videos just pop up in my feed. I ain't saying his name. And then people be hit me up on Facebook about it. 1 minute he's saying this, then the next minute he's saying this, then the next minute he backtracking on this, then the next minute he removing videos and telling people YouTube did it. The devil's a liar. He did it because he was busted. I know another prophet, she's a female, same thing. She say this, then she say that, then she backtrack, then she remove videos, then she lie and say YouTube did it. YouTube is not always the culprit. Yes, YouTube will remove a video in a heartbeat. They won't even tell you. They used to tell you, but they won't even tell you unless you get a warning or a strike from them. Then they will tell you. But YouTube is not always the culprit. A lot of these false prophets be removing their own videos because they know they caught. They know they busted. And they don't want no proof around that they said it. They'll even take down their whole channel and open a new channel. Because they know they had all these lying videos that was evidence and they took them down. But people still follow them. That's why God said in days you'll have itchy ears. Many people, that's itchy ears. If you know somebody's a false prophet or not telling the truth, or they could be a real prophet, but they prophet lie. And you seen them take down their videos, even change their channel, but you still believe them? You still follow them? No, they need to go sit down with God. They need to come off of these platforms and go and sit down with God, repent, get right, get clean, and come back right. No, they just changed their channel down and blame it on YouTube. Talking about YouTube took my channel down. YouTube took my videos down. The devil's a lie. YouTube is not behind everything. YouTube is the fall guy sometimes, because a lot of these prophets will use it, will lie to you and tell you YouTube took the videos down or YouTube took your channel down when YouTube ain't had nothing to do with it. They did it because they ain't want to be busted with their lying false prophecies. And then have the audacity to go after the true prophets of God. All you gotta do is look at this one particular man and this female. All you gotta do is look at their videos and study them. You can see where they lying. Bitcoin going to go to 12,000 this month. Where's Bitcoin now? Almost 24 grand. Oh, Bitcoin going to go to zero in July. Where's Bitcoin? Almost 24 grand. Oh, this coin is going to crash in the month of June. And it soars. Oh, the stock market is about to crash. And it soars. AMC is going down to $5. Where's AMC? 23 bucks? I heard this guy's talking about stock, the stock called Riot. It's a stock that's behind Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin goes up, that stock goes up. Oh, it's going to be $1.82. Riot is at $8.82. All these visions. Oh, Bitcoin going to be to zero in April. Bitcoin going to be zero in August. I don't know if it's this August. I don't know if it's this May or this April. It could be next year. Oh, Luna 0.20 is going to crash. And Luna Classic is going to score. Remember I told y'all 2 months ago that I saw Luna Classic going up. And then I saw Luna 2.0 following it. Boom. Where's Luna Classic? Didn't it eat a zero? 3 left. Where's Luna 2.0? $2 and some change. And I told y'all Luna Classic is going to soar because I saw it so many times. And that Luna 2.0 is going to be trailing it. Isn't it doing that? But everybody was like, oh, Luna 2.0 is going to crash. Oh, Luna Classic is never going to stand. Oh, they're going to get rid of it. Is it not still here? But yet I'm the false prophet. But you keep listening to these lying prophets. Oh, Bitcoin is still going to hit zero. If Bitcoin ever hits zero, it's going to be by itself. Because I told you they're going to depeg Bitcoin. They're going to depeg it. It's going to be by itself. Ethereum is going to become very strong. And a lot of coins are going to be attached to Ethereum. And Ethereum is still going to have something to do with Bitcoin. I told y'all that. And we're looking at this. We're seeing this stuff. I told y'all the beginning of last year, this year we was going to have the worst crashes ever. And the stock market and coins were going to go up and down, up and down. Has it not happened? What other prophet told you that? Has it not happened? Every coin I gave y'all before the crash came, did it not go up? Did not SHIB go up 3 times like I told you in June 20th? And we have 2 more to go. All Jasmine. How many of y'all made money off of Jasmine before the crash came? Because I hooked y'all up to it. How many of y'all got coins on crypto.com? You never even heard of them before. I told y'all Shiba was coming to Robinhood before the month of April was out. Did it not come? Who else told you that? But yet you want to call me a false prophet. Did I not tell you that Robinhood was going to get many other coins? You got what, 10 or 12 now? Who else told you that? Nobody. But yet I'm a false prophet. You know, sometimes we prophets and prophetess have to be bold before the masses of God and have to let you know just who we are in God. So you better stop believing these people when they say I'm false and any other true prophet out there. And a lot of these false prophets are taking my prophecies and others and saying God told them. And you believe them. And then you come back and call me the false prophet. When all you got to do is look at the dates. Look at the dates of my videos. It will tell you when I said stuff. And then go look at their dates that's calling me false. And it will show you they said it after me. So who's false? Who's false? That's what Jezebel does. That's what the prophets of Baals do. They try and make the real prophets look false. They take their words, which you can't say nothing about that because God, anything that we say is God's word. We don't own it. We don't own the prophecies that come out of our mouth. So if somebody else want to go and use them, it is what it is, right? but if you're going to go and use somebody's word, don't turn around and call them false when you know you got it from them. That's a prophet of Baal. That's a prophet of Jezebel. Like Baal, the prophet Baal, a lot of people don't realize this. The prophet Baal, he was really a true prophet of God. What is Baal? He was really a real prophet of the Most High, but he got compromised by that king. What was his name? Azazer? I think he's in King Azazer. But he got defiled by the king because the prophet Baal had eyes for riches. He had eyes for riches. He wanted to be rich. And the king of Babylon at that time was very rich. So he knew that the prophet Baal was a very powerful prophet. And he knew that anything that came out of his mouth would come to pass. Right? So that's why he kept trying to get him to curse Israel. Y'all remember it's in the book of Kings, I believe. He kept trying to get him to curse Israel, right? And every time he would go to curse Israel, God would send it, Archangel Michael or Gabriel, or God would talk to Baal himself and tell him, don't curse my people. If you curse my people, I'm going to curse you and take your life, right? So then Baal would go to the king and tell him, I can't curse Israel. God told me not to curse Israel. So the king would tell him, okay, well, let's go to another spot. And I'll kill 7 rams and 7 cows. It happened like 3 to 5 times. And every time they went to each spot, the king commanded 7 calves, 7 lambs and goats. So it was like 21. And the reason why he kept taking Baal to these different sacrificial lands and having his people kill 7 calves and rams and whatever else he killed was because each sacrificial place had a deity over it, a false deity, a false god. And the more places he took Baal, the stronger the deity was supposed to be. So he's thinking the king, he's like, okay, I'm going to take Baal to this place. And this deity will overtake him. and he will do my will. He will do my bidding, and he will open his mouth and curse Israel. But every time he took Prophet Baal to these different sacrificial places and did all this stuff and thought these deities would be stronger, Baal would go to God, and God would say to him, do not curse my people. If you curse my people, I will curse you and you will die. Tell the king he will die. But the king was so stubborn, he didn't care. And he thought that his deities were more powerful than God. So after taking Baal to like 5, it was either 3 to 5 or 3 to 7 different sacrificial places to sacrifice to his gods to overtake Baal's mind and heart so that he cursed Israel. The last place he took him, Baal came back and said to him, I don't care what you offer me. I don't care how rich you make me. I can never curse Israel. I can never. And the Lord said, if you continue, you and all your generation and throne will be cursed. See, God didn't threaten to kill the king. He threatened to curse him and his throne, his generation. See, sometimes God ain't going to kill you. Sometimes God gonna dig hard. He gonna wreck your kingdom. He gonna wreck your family because he wants you to feel it. He wants you to suffer the same way you wanted his people to suffer. So he wanted that king to suffer. Then bow went to God again. And one last time, God said, tell the king, I will curse him. I will curse his thrones. I will curse his land. And I will curse his generations forever. And isn't that what we see today? Isn't Babylon cursed? Anything to do with Babylon is cursed. And after that bow, he cleansed himself up before the Lord. And really after that, you really don't hear too much about what happened to Baal, you know? But a lot of people don't know that this is what went through. This is what Baal had to go through with the king that was trying to curse Israel. I mean, some of it is in the books of King, but a lot of it isn't. You find out the other stuff when you start studying and going deeper, or you go to Bible school and you learn this, you learn that, or you start talking to God and you learn these things. So basically, the Lord allowed us to know the story of Baal to let you know you can't curse Israel. Even if Israel is full of sin themselves, God will curse them. But you can't curse them because God made an everlasting covenant with Israel. He has never broken his covenant with his people, but his people has broken their covenant with him. But when they come back and repent and they want to get right, this is why it's so easy for anybody who's true Israel or who is grafted in, like it says in Romans 8. This is why it's so easy for us to come back to God and repent and renew our covenant, because he swore he would never, ever break his covenant with Israel and anybody that becomes a part of Israel. So because our God decided that he would never break his covenant, that means whenever we break it and we make it and we still alive long enough and we come back to God, you go right back into your marriage covenant with your father, because he is the one that deemed he would never break it. And people don't know these things because they don't want to preach these type of things to you in the churches today. Because if they preach these kind of things to you, then you will find out who your God really is. These type of things will strengthen you in your God. You will start to understand the word in ways you never have before. You'll become strong in God. They won't be able to handle you. You'll go up to them and be like, okay, what about this and then? They're looking at you like, wait a minute, I don't know that. And then they'll tell you, wait a minute, I'll pray about it, get back to you. How many of you ever had pastors to tell you that? Or bishop, I'll pray about it, get back to you. And they never, ever get back to you. Because they don't know. God ain't talking to them. Or they don't know how to find it. Some of y'all can run circles around the churches y'all go to. Some of y'all can get up on there and move that leader out and preach yourself. Some of you can get up and lay hands and cast devils and demons out. Some of you can get up there and prophesy and put the church senior prophet under the bus if given a chance. And how many of you been in church and you go to your leaders and you question them, or you tell them something, or you tell them about a prophecy, and all of a sudden they change. They don't want nothing to do with you no more. They ostracize you, run you out the church because they jealous, because they know you got an anointing that's powerful and you going to outdo them, and they don't want to be shamed. How many of you have gone through that? I have. I have. How many of you ever been invited somewhere and never been invited back? I have. Some places you ain't meant to go back. Some places you only meant to go one time because there's assignments there. And then God wants you to spread some seeds. You know, he wants you to root some seeds. And that's all he wanted you to do. He going to send somebody else to water them down and root them up. So see, we got to understand that every assignment is not long lasting. Every assignment is not for a season. Some are for a reason in a day. Some are for an hour. Some are for a few minutes. How many people you have met and within 1 to 2 weeks, boom, they gone. And you like, yo, I thought they was going to stay. Nah, boo, they ain't meant to stay. They was only meant to stay a week or two. Sometimes you don't keep them in your life 2-3 years and boom, they gone. You hurting. God looking at you like, look, didn't I tell you everybody's not going to be your friend? Everybody's not meant to be in your life for a long term. Get over it and move on to the next. I done been through it. I done been through it. And then the Lord will tell me, now repent. I said, for what? He said, because you told them that you and them were going to be together. You were going to work in ministry together. You were going to do this and do that. Did I tell you that? I'm like, no, you didn't. Now repent, because you're not. I'm like, but I didn't lie. That's what I thought in my heart. He said, well, your heart fooled you. Repent. I'm teaching y'all some stuff today. I am teaching y'all some nuggets today. I'm teaching just like Joseph. He was 17 when he went into the prison. I mean, when he, got caught as a slave, right? They took him out of the pit. He was 17. He spent anywhere from 2 to 5 years on Potiphar's house before the wife even came after him. She was just after him for a long, long time. And she just couldn't help herself no more because he was that fine. Right? And she just went for it. She thought he would go for it. But he didn't. Right? So it took him 3 to 5 years to get to that point. And it took 1 week for him to wind up in the prison because of her lies. And do you know the husband knew she was lying? But the reason why he put Joseph in the dungeon is because he would have lost his reputation. He would have lost his status. He would have lost his position with the king. Because in those days, if a woman says that she was raped, you must believe her. Because they felt the woman had no reason to lie. But he knew she lied. But he had to do what he did. He had to do what he did. The reason why Joseph got so much favor in the prison is definitely because of God. But it's also because of Potiphar. He spoke to the king, asked the king to be gentle with Joseph. The people, the master of the prison, he asked the master of the prison to give Joseph favor, to let Joseph do this, to let Joseph do that. So it was God that touched Potiphar's heart to talk to the king and to the masters over the prison to give Joseph favor. But what happened after 6 or 7 years of favor, Yahushua, the jealous one, got jealous and caused some problems for him. And a new master came and beat him really bad on his back, just like Yahushua was. So when Joseph was being beat on his back, that was a sacrifice for what was to come, right? God allowed that master to come in and do what he did because Joseph was getting too comfortable in the prison. So sometimes God will allow the enemy to come and beat your butt. Maybe even bruise you. Maybe even put you in the hospital. And you may seem like you're about to die. It has happened to me. Because you need to be woke up because you done got too comfortable. You are here for this reason, not that reason. Wake up. Be like, I'm sorry. God, don't let me die. God, heal me. Yeah, Joseph did that because they bruised him so bad he could have died. He could have died. So God healed him. Then 3 years later, these 2 butlers of the king, here they come, having their dreams, right? Go to Joseph. He interpreted it, right? But what does Joseph say to the both of them? Don't forget me when you get out and you go to the king. Tell the king about me so I can be free. That angered God because God was the only one who could free him. So he got 2 more years, 12. Then he came out. He was like 30, I believe 30 years old. What did God do? Made him second in command, a governor, almost like a king. He was one step away from a king. Gave him a beautiful wife. They had beautiful sons and daughters. He became one of the richest men ever. And what happened? He wound up saving his whole tribe. It was only like 70 to 170 of them left. He wound up saving them. And then the king gave them the city called Goshen for years. Then when the king died, everything changed because the tyrant's son came. So that's the history of Joseph. The reason why God gave Joseph the dream about the wheat, because God knew that the king was going to make Joseph second in command. God knew by Joseph becoming second in command, he would save the 170 of his family that was left. He would also save other tribes that came to Egypt that they don't tell you. That were the tribes of Judah. From other parts to Goshen to live because they were starving too. So God knew all these things was going to happen. So Joseph had to be in the dungeon. He had to be in the wilderness. He had to be behind iron and brass. He had to be in bondage for 10 years. But because he trusted in man, God gave him an extra 2. So 12 years. So 12 years of his life was taken, but he had favor, except for 1 year when the new master came. He went through it. He went through tribulation. He went through the wilderness. He went through the darkness. He went through demonic attacks, and it made him stronger. And that's the same thing we go through right now. And then I'm going to tell you about Job real quick, then I'm going to go, right? Because I got to go. Job went through what he went through, not because he was a prideful man. It's because he was a blessed man. Job never had any problems. Job was favored among the lands and the nations and among the tribes. He was favored. Job had the most beautiful children in the land. Some of the most finest children you could ever see in the land. He was rich in cattle, rich in silver and gold, just rich in everything. He had one of the most beautiful wives that men in that time envied that he had, right? Satan was jealous. Yahushua, the jealous one. Like it says, he was jealous. He said, let me go and see if I can get God's attention. Now, mind you, he's never seen God because God don't have anything to do with anything that's not in him. But he could have, you have something, I forget what they call them. I forget the name. Mortifers, I forget their names, but they're like judges, tribal judges of God. They're like some of the highest priests in heaven. We know Yeshua is the highest priest, but I'm saying after him. They up there like Archangel Michael and Gabriel, right? Now, Yahushua has been judged by Archangel Raphael and Gabriel before. We know that through the book of Daniel when Gabriel tried to come and answer his prayer, but the king of Persia, that spirit tied him up, so Archangel Michael had to come. And Raphael came too, but see, they don't tell you about Raphael. To loose Gabriel so he could bring the prayer, right? But you have, they call mortifers or something like that. And Satan goes to talk to them. They are the counsel of God. He goes to talk to them. So when he goes to talk to them, it's like talking to God because, God sees everything. And he goes and talks to them and he be like, Job. He has had nothing but goodness from a child. He has never suffered. How do you know that he truly loves God? Because he has never suffered by the hand of God. Allow me. Give me permission to make him suffer, and I will prove to you that he will curse God. So see, Yahushua was thinking because Job had never suffered, the only reason why he loved God is because God was blessing him so much, and God has never cursed him or put him in bondage. There are some people in the Bible that has never gone through bondage or captivity or anything. Solomon wouldn't have never went through it if he didn't turn and start marrying all these different women. You see, David wouldn't have went through it if he didn't go after Bathsheba, right? So Hosea was blameless But God had him marry the prostitute, and he was blessed in the end of years, right? So Satan was like, you know what? I'm going to prove to you. The only reason why he loved God is because God treated him good. He ain't never suffered. So let him suffer. And I bet you he cursed God. So the council went to God. God was like, all right, let him do it. But tell him he can do anything he want to do to him, but he can't take his life. Even if he curses me, he cannot take his life. So they came back, told y'all what he could do. Boy, did he go for broke. He doggone near seemed like he killed him, was going to kill him. Job was so bad with boils and stuff on him, he had to sleep on a wire like pat that had holes in it. Because the boils was so big, when he slept on it, the boils went in the hole. I mean, this man went through it. He suffered in ways that we could never imagine. He never cursed God. His friends cursed God, even his wife. His wife said, why don't you curse God and die? Only reason why his wife was alive was because God needed to use her to give Job more children that were even better than the first children. If God wasn't giving Job any children, he'd have took her butt. And the only reason why he didn't take his 3 friends and told Job the last thing he needs to do before he redeems him is to pray for them, because if not, I'm going to strike them. Because they cursed Job and God and then told Job to curse God. See, he needed the 3 friends as the 3 witnesses. How many of you know God needs witnesses to his power in order that others can see and hear and come? So he needed Job's friends to be alive to witness all that Job went through. See, people around the area saw him losing his wealth, but they didn't see what he was going through. That was hidden. But once he was delivered, he carried the banner, like it says in Psalms 126, see what God did for me. People were shocked what he was going through. They didn't know. They knew all kinds of stuff was being lost. His wealth was being lost, but they didn't know what he was going through. They didn't see him. God kept him in the house. We don't know how long he went through this. It could have been weeks. It could have been months. It could have been years. We don't know. And the whole time Job was going through this, he's talking to God. He's questioning God, because he's never done that before. You know, I mean, he's asking God some serious stuff. And God looking at him like, what in the world? Where is he getting this from? Let me get him straight. Did you make the world, Job? Did you create me and con Job? Nope. But I'm going to answer you anyway. So while him going through this, God gave Job much wisdom. He gave Job much peace. Although Job was in excruciating pain, he could barely sleep, he could barely eat. His mind was just being tossed to and from for who knows how long. But God gave him peace because God came to talk to him every day. God showed up every day to talk to him. And when Job came out of that, he didn't just get back some of the most beautiful children, more beautiful than before. Double cattle, double riches, double gold, double this. His wife even changed. Youth came back to his wife. His 3 friends became rich like him. They served God, you know, but he also came out knowing his God. Knowing God in a way he never knew God before. So see, when we suffer, we get to learn our God. We get to learn things about him that we never knew about him before, so that we can teach others who are willing to listen, because not everybody will. And the ones who are willing to listen, then they become changed. They become redeemed. Then God comes and talks to them, and it goes forward. And what happens? Before you know it, you have billions of people shining like beams of God, preaching, teaching, prophesying, healing, raising the dead, snatching demons out. So remember that. In your times of testing and tribulation, you're being refined like gold, because God in the heavens of God is gold standard. You cannot come back to God until you're back in your gold standard, the way you was before you left. Once you're in your gold standard, then that's when God will deal with you. So he got to take you through stuff. And as he's taking you through stuff, he's talking to you. But when you out of it, he starts dealing with you. He starts flexing his muscles and showing, look at what I did. Look what I created. Look at the mosaic I did. Look what I put in her. in him. And look what they doing for me. And he laughs at Yahushua. Ha, ha, ha. You thought you was going to kill her. You thought you was going to kill him. You thought they was going to be made to be nothing. Ha, ha, ha. I shamed you. And one day I'm going to crush you like a donut. That's what God is saying. That's what God is saying. All right, so I got to go now because Sister Pat is outside. So I will make a video with the other words I got to tell y'all. And then I'm going to be doing my radio show this week. So look out for that. All right. So I love you guys. Share this video. Many people need to hear this. It will deliver many. All right. Even if you got to come back and listen to yourself. All right. And give me some likes. Y'all are very poor with the likes. Y'all give me likes. But y'all could do better. Shalom.